After a weekend of much fanfare and maybe a little bit too much sun for me, the Halo Infinite beta has finally ended, or the test flight, whatever you want to call it. And it seems like it was a resounding success. Most people are talking about their positive experiences with Halo Infinite, and that has me really excited about the full game. Now, as a campaign player, though, I have been waiting for anybody to talk about the campaign, and finally, someone on the Microsoft team has broken their silence and said something about it. Let's get into some campaign stuff I've wanted to talk about for a while. Thank you so much for watching. If you like these sort of videos, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. So real quick, big, huge success for the Halo Infinite flight. A lot of people playing big team battle. A lot of people just loving it. And finally, somebody on the Microsoft team has said something about the campaign. Now, it was brief, but Aaron Greenberg tweeted how much he had been loving the clips from Big Team Battle, hashtag Return of the King. People are likening Halo Infinite's gameplay to Halo 3, but modernized. The best of the best of Halo, basically, in modern day. It's accurate. I played through the first test flight. I played a little bit of this test flight, and I have no doubts in my mind about the multiplayer anymore. It is just so fun. I hope you got a chance to experience it this weekend, because I am loving the multiplayer aspect of the game. Now, one lingering question is, what is the single player going to be like? So thankfully, Aaron Greenberg has actually played part of the single player campaign. And when replying to his thread about the multiplayer experience, he said, "Same here, Benji. Got to play some campaign on Friday and been smiling all weekend." So now I seem that may seem like an innocuous tweet to you, but it confirms a few things in my mind. First of all, they have a playable build of the campaign, and they are sending it out to senior members of the team. That means that campaign is in a playable state. Hopefully, because it's right around the corner with December, right? And it's really, really exciting to hear Aaron Greenberg talk about getting to play it and being happy about what he experienced. Hopefully that is true for launch also. Paul Tassi also wrote his article basically saying multiplayer could launch by itself and be great, but if these things launch together with a 1-2 combo of greatness, that's really, really exciting. Because for me, honestly, the Halo franchise was in such dire straits after Halo 5. It just did not resonate with me. The multiplayer didn't. I know a lot of people liked Halo 5 multiplayer. It didn't click with me. This multiplayer is awesome, and I'm really, really excited to see what they do with the game. So in addition to why it's important, though, this is the first time anyone from Microsoft has said anything about the Halo Infinite campaign, has said that they're playing it, has said that they enjoyed it, has said anything. It's just been silence for so long. It's the first time we've heard impressions of anything. And I mean, Aaron Greenberg works for Microsoft, obviously, but the fact that he has had a positive experience with it, what I don't think he's like faking it. I think he actually enjoyed his time with it. He just wouldn't have answered the question if there wasn't genuine enthusiasm there. Now, if you remember, they did promise that they would show campaign soon. And the quote was, "Everybody wants to see campaign, especially campaign gameplay. We will absolutely show campaign gameplay before launch, but we just need to stay focused on shutdown mode. Once we pass that hurdle, we're going to be going after things like gameplay captures and trailers that will all be coming a little bit closer to launch." So we're just a few months out from launch, right? So it's really, really great to know that we are also going to get to see Halo Infinite campaign. And it's the most important aspect to me that I feel like they have to course correct after 5. I've been very public about how much I disliked 5. There was an ongoing joke on Unlocked about how much I did not like Locke as a character, or how they set him up, or just how he was written. It's so frustrating to see this great opportunity to have a moment of conflict between Chief and a new character, and just to have it all squandered so thoroughly was so incredibly frustrating. So basically, I'm excited because of what we've seen, right? Here's what we know, and I took a few notes from what else do I have in my notes here? Some people, we'll talk about that later. Charlie Intel had a few notes that I was trying to collect what we know about the campaign so far. And here's what they said. We know that the story is 3 years after Halo 5. So Halo 5, Cortana basically tries to destroy everything. And we know from the recent trailer that we're going to be introduced to a new AI Cortana, the weapon. And she says that the OG Cortana is erased and replaced. But it seems a little bit ambiguous as to what has been going on in the campaign. Who is this new Cortana? Is it just the AI they coded to look like old Cortana, but I don't know, made her sort of not as intelligent? There's a great YouTuber, Halo Cannon, who talks about all this stuff in depth. If you want to know more about Halo lore, I'm not even going to attempt to butcher it more than I have in the past. There's the UNSC soldier, the pilot. He's going to play some sort of role in helping out Chief. We know that the pilot finds Chief floating in the debris, and there is this sort of setup to him getting rebooted when he plugs in the armor and Chief comes back to life. Now, say what you will about Halo 5, but it was really, really cool to get to actually see the team. I believe it's Gray Team. It's either Gray or Blue Team. I think it's Blue Team. Gray Team was one of the novels. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. So anyway, they all meet up. It's the classic characters from the early novels especially, and they are backing Chief, even though Chief seems to sort of gone off on the deep end. That happened in Halo 5. So why is Chief floating in space? Like, what happened there? Why is he there? Who is this soldier? Who is this pilot? Those are questions that are still lingering. For the most of the campaign, we're going to be fighting the Banished on the Zeta Halo, trying to get back to Earth. During this time, you're going to work on solving the mystery of Cortana and the weapon. I think the weapon is the new Cortana, right? So there's all these sort of lingering questions about the story. What is going on? And real briefly, the other thing I wanted to touch on are sort of the negative reactions to the beta this weekend. I don't believe these. Like, I think there's people out there who said, hey, I'm having a bad time with my PC, and like, I'm concerned that I want the frame rate better. That's, to me, that's a realistic criticism, something that somebody had a negative reaction to. The reactions I'm talking about, though, are the people that are talking about like tree collisions and the fact that the tires blow up in multiplayer and the fact that the fruit explodes. I want to encourage people to stop taking these seriously. I don't even think these are legitimate criticisms. I think they are people looking for attention, because often they are compared to The Last of Us. The Last of Us is a single player campaign. They're comparing it to a multiplayer test flight. It's just, it's the problem with Twitter. Twitter really incentivizes people just to be as sensational as possible, and then they get a lot of attention. And there's a lot of people out there that have figured this out, and that's all they do now. So I wouldn't take those criticisms to heart. I would look more at people who are being a little bit more serious. Like when you're complaining about tires exploding, it's just so petty and small that it just doesn't feel justified or realistic to me. So PC optimization, like, that's a real criticism that should probably be listened to. If you're encountering strange issues where like the game crashes randomly, like, that's stuff that should be addressed. But I don't know about you, but I don't go around in my multiplayer games shooting fruit stands, right? So yeah, take that for what you will, but that's sort of my take on it. I just largely ignore it, and I'm going to continue to ignore it as much as I possibly can because I don't like it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you like these sort of videos where I talk about whatever's going on in the industry. The last few have been pre-recorded. I know a lot of people had strong reactions to my opinion that Xbox needs to address the lack of campaign experiences. Thank you for sharing your opinions. It's definitely something I'm going to agree to disagree on. The fact that Xbox, I think Xbox needs to do that. I think they are going to address that criticism in 2022, but it's a time will tell thing. We need to see what those games are to determine if they have managed to hit that. And some people corrected me. Phil Spencer, what he specifically said was, we don't want to do one thing a bunch of times. And I'm paraphrasing. We want to do a lot of different things. Well, one of those different things they should be doing is stellar storytelling campaign experiences on big budget. And that's my opinion. And that's one area that I want to see Microsoft continue in. I love Ori also, but Ori isn't in that. Ori isn't Last of Us. Ori isn't God of War. It's a phenomenal experience, but it's different, right? That's all I'm trying to say. still a big Xbox fan. I'm just saying, like, hey, if you want to get more customers, this would be one criticism, probably the most important criticism that I think they know they're going to look at. And it seems like they got 2022 set up for that. So just a quick, that's my rebuttal on it. I'm not going to change my stance on it. Like, that's just how I feel about it. But I love seeing the conversation in the comments. Thank you, everybody, for leaving a comment. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please subscribe if you like this sort of stuff. Thank you to all the members. Memberships are turned on here on YouTube if you would like to become a member. I'm going to catch you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.